don't go believing anything I say. No, don't go believing me. No, don't listen to me, don't take any notice. Don't listen to anything that I say. Thank you.
Good evening. Over the past year, we have shown that vaccination is the key to beating COVID and that it works.
We know that. It looked as if it was going to be able to evade vaccination, and now clinically we know that it can in terms of infection.
The UK was the first country in the world to administer a vaccine. We delivered the fastest rollout in Europe, and we've begun the fastest booster campaign too, with over 500,000 jabs delivered yesterday alone. And we've begun the fastest booster camp.
For the community of just 230, a worst fear is being realised. Making matters worse, people move regularly between Binjari and the nearby community of Rockhole. The government fears that means more cases are all but inevitable. Both communities have now been placed in a hard lockdown.
Booster camp.
In the searing 40-degree heat, they'll be confined to these homes.
Booster camp.
With food and support delivered at a distance by rapid response teams, a hard measure that could remain in place for weeks.
Booster campaign too, with over 500,000 jabs delivered yesterday alone.
And from Monday, we'll start to recruit to 10,000 paid vaccinator roles.
And these achievements, made possible by the extraordinary efforts of our NHS, including thousands of GPs and volunteer vaccinators.
So the payment for standard delivery of vaccinations will increase to £15 a shot until the end of January. To increase capacity on Sundays, when many community pharmacists are not usually open, we'll offer an additional £5 a shot. And to ensure we're prioritising the most vulnerable, we'll offer a £30 premium for vaccinations delivered to the housebound until the end of next month.
Have literally saved countless lives and livelihoods in this country. But I need to speak to you this evening because I'm afraid we're now facing an emergency in our battle with the new variant, Omicron.
And the opportunities they offer. Ooh, they really dose you, Jim. You gotta get it together. Focus, focus, focus. Remember the plan. I did my part. What? Shh. Not what, when. Yes, when? Now. Now, Jim. Now.
Yes, now, buy, sell, stock, buy, purchase, sell. Yes, no more monkey business.
And we must urgently reinforce our wall of vaccine protection to keep our friends and loved ones safe.
This is going to be a great boost for our defence against the Delta virus.
State Cabinet has signed off on the Wellcamp facility, first proposed 7 months ago. Businessman John Wagner will build it next door to his airport.
We will have the first 500 beds operational before Christmas.
The state government will lease it and run it. The cost to taxpayers is being kept under wraps.
What fantastic value it will be if we can avoid just one lockdown.
The federal government's previously rejected the plan on grounds it's too far from a tertiary hospital, but the Deputy Premier's declared it
the perfect location.
Still, some old sticking points remain, like will international flights to Wellcamp be approved? Like will international flights to Wellcamp be approved? Like will international flights to Wellcamp be approved?
Earlier today, the UK's 4 chief medical officers raised the COVID alert level to 4, its second highest level, because of the evidence that Omicron is doubling.
The doubling rate is between 2 and 3 days.
From what we can tell from a let's call it a desktop analysis, given the number of mutations that have been identified, you double those that were there for the Delta variant.
Here in the UK, every 2 to 3 days. And we know from bitter experience how these exponential curves develop. No one should be in any doubt. There is a tidal wave of Omicron coming. There is a tidal wave of Omicron coming. And I'm afraid it is now clear that 2 doses of vaccine are simply not enough to give the level of protection we all need. But the good news is that our scientists are confident that with a 3rd dose,
we know that it looked as if it was going to be able to evade vaccination, and now clinically we know that it can in terms of infection.
A booster dose, we can all bring our level of protection back up. I know there will be some people watching who will be asking whether Omicron is less severe than previous variants, and whether we really need to go out and get that booster.
Suffering. The way you get your own spirit through your own suffering.
And the answer is yes, we do.
I'm talking about passion.
Do not make the mistake of thinking Omicron can't hurt you.
I'm talking about passion.
Can't make you and your loved ones seriously ill.
I'm talking about passion.
We've already seen hospitalizations doubling in a week.
I'm talking about passion.
In South Africa, and we have patients with Omicron in hospital here in the UK right now.
I'm afraid we don't know enough yet.
At this point, our scientists cannot say that Omicron is less severe. And even if that proved to be true, we already know it is so much more transmissible.
I'm afraid we don't know enough yet.
That a wave of Omicron through a population that was not boosted would risk a level of hospitalisation that could overwhelm our NHS and lead, sadly, to very many deaths. So, we must act now. Today, we're launching the Omicron Emergency Booster national mission, unlike anything we've done before in the vaccination programme. To get boosted now. A fortnight ago, I said we would offer every eligible adult a booster by the end of January. Today, in light of this Omicron emergency, I'm bringing that target forward by a whole month. Everyone eligible aged 18 and over in England will have the chance to get their booster before the new year. And we've spoken today to the devolved administrations to confirm the UK government will provide additional support to accelerate vaccinations in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. To hit the pace we need, we'll need to match the NHS's best vaccination day so far and then beat that day after day. This will require an extraordinary effort, and as we focus on boosters and make this new target achievable, it will mean some other appointments will need to be postponed until the new year.
Wiping out the human race? It's a great idea. It's great. But more of a long-term thing. First we have to focus on more immediate goals.
But if we don't do this now, the wave of Omicron could be so big that cancellations and disruptions, like the loss of cancer appointments, would be even greater next year. And I know the pressures on everyone in our NHS, from our GPs, doctors, nurses to our porters, all of whom have worked incredibly hard. And I thank them for all the amazing work that they've done. But I say directly to those of you on the front line.
Blah, blah, blah.
I must ask you to make another extraordinary effort now.
Blah, blah, blah.
So we can protect you and your colleagues, and above all, protect your patients.
Blah, blah, blah.
From even greater pressures next year.
Blah, blah, blah.
So from tomorrow in England, we're opening up the booster to every adult over 18 who has had a second dose of the vaccine at least 3 months ago. The NHS booking system will be open for these younger age groups from Wednesday, and that's the best way to guarantee your slot. But in some places, you can walk in from tomorrow. We will also assist this emergency operation by deploying 42 military planning teams across every health region, standing up additional vaccine sites and mobile units, extending opening hours so clinics are open 7 days a week with more appointments early in the morning, in the evening and at weekends, and training thousands more volunteer vaccinators. And we'll set out further steps in the days ahead. It's because of the threat from Omicron that I announced on Wednesday that we will move to Plan B in England. You must wear a face covering in indoor public spaces.
We're just putting some PPE on because in a normal day and in research, we probably wouldn't need to use all of this. But now because of the outbreak, even if we're only going to speak with a patient and approach for research, we need to use full PPE.
One of the big studies that we're taking part in is a huge international effort where we are collecting lots and lots of data, lots and lots of data, lots and lots of data, lots and lots of data on patients that are infected with COVID.
And from tomorrow, work from home if you can. And from Wednesday, subject to a vote in Parliament, you'll need to show a negative lateral flow test to get into nightclubs and some large events if you're not double vaccinated. These measures will help slow the spread of Omicron. But we must go further and get boosted now. If you haven't yet had a vaccine at all, then please get yourself at least some protection with a jab as quickly as possible.
I said no!
If you've already had your booster, encourage your friends and family to do the same. We're a great country. We have the vaccines to protect our people. So let's do it. Let's get boosted now.
What's gonna become of me?
Get boosted now for yourself, for your friends and your family. Get boosted now to protect jobs and livelihoods across this country.
How is it?
Get boosted now to protect our NHS.
It's delicious.
Our freedoms.
Welcome.
And our way of life.
The golden circle.
Get boosted now. Thank you very much.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!